Episode 22 this week, we cover A Taste of Armaggedon. This one was a interesting tale. The Enterprise has on board High Commissioner Robert Fox, who apparently has authority to take command of the Enterprise and order Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk gets ordered around on his own ship. They're on the way to Armenia 7 to open up negotiations for a treaty, and they tell them, don't come here. They give them General Order 710, which means don't come to this planet. Captain Kirk's like, let's turn around. The Commissioner Fox says, no, we'll force them to do this treaty. Captain Kirk says, well, okay then. They go there. Captain Kirk's party beams to the planet, and they're taken prisoner because they're in a war with the neighboring planet for 500 years. Valdusk, I believe that was the name. And then they use computers to calculate what was damaged, who was killed, the people that were targeted as being killed, put in disintegration chambers. Captain Kirk's appalled by this. Doesn't like that. He likes it less when the Enterprise is a casualty. They say the Enterprise has to be destroyed, where the treaty will be broken. Real weapons could be used. Captain Kirk formulates his plan where he'll outwit the computer, because that's what he loves to do. Loves it. So, while they're battling with that, the planet's shooting at the Enterprise. Mr. Scott trying to figure out how to keep the Enterprise from being blown to bits. And the High Commissioner's like, well, don't shoot at them. Clearly it's a mistake. They're accidentally shooting us repeatedly and lying about not having the captain held hostage. Scotty didn't buy that a bit. Not a bit. Finally he just said, well, I'm not going to follow your orders anymore. The High Commissioner was all flabbergasted, but he beamed down to the planet to see what the mistake was. And they're like, well, thanks for coming down here. By the way, you're going to die. And he's like, but I'm with the Federation. They're like, don't care, you're going to die. He was flabbergasted. Captain Kirk eventually escapes. He's got weapons. He's got his men, the one female officer, and they rescue the High Commissioner, destroy the computers, blow them all to bits, and then there has to be a real war, because Captain Kirk's like, well, I'll just break the Prime Directive here. He doesn't care about the Prime Directive. He's like, you'll fight the war the way I want you to fight the war. Even though Federation clearly has no treaty with you, because that's why we were coming here. So he just forced his will upon two planets at war. The Commissioner stayed behind to form the treaty, and probably because Scotty didn't like him. He's like, let the guy stay behind. If he dies, he dies. Captain Kirk's like, that's a good idea. I leave guys behind all the time. That's the guy in the ship with the little baby guy. And they all laugh. That was pretty much the episode. Some interesting notes here. This is clearly a episode that was meant to symbolize the current war of the time, Vietnam, where people were being drafted and sent in to combat and not coming back. A lot of symbolism in the episode. It was the second time we saw a Federation official have command over Captain Kirk. The first one being the Galileo 7, where the Federation official took command of the Enterprise and ordered it away from the search mission in order to make its like Starfleet Federation appointed mission. So the Commissioner Fox having that type of authority, apparently Federation officials could just usurp the authority of whoever commanded the starships. Also, no Mr. Sulu in this episode. It was a Helmsman of the Week, Lieutenant Uhura, briefly in the episode. There's also one of the few times where you had like an actual war between planets. Gene Roddenberry, not a big fan of having actual wars between planets, but they did in this episode. It's also one of the many, many times Captain Kirk just outwitted the computer, destroyed the computer, the whole situation was solved. Captain Kirk, not a fan of computers, apparently. But that's pretty much a taste of Armageddon.